Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls. I am your host, Mike B. Here we are in August. So, the UK Games Expo took place weekend just gone. I don't know how many there was now. Anyway, it took place under restrictions. I didn't go. From what I've seen of it, it was a more subdued affair. I say subdued, they've released visitor numbers. There's about 10,000 still went, I believe, over the weekend, which is no small shit. That's a good word as any. No small shit, yes. Let's hope that hasn't spread its con crud plus too far and wide. Anyway, it looks subdued. It was still, it was a very small event. If you've been to Expo, it was in the sort of second hall. The one was up the stairs. And in that was really shrunk down. I've seen some shots on some of the Facebook. In fact, I've seen some shots on the Board Game Trading and Chat Facebook group. Thank you. And it's been on there. Anyway, I've distracted my own self of my bodily functions. Not for the first time, I may say. So yeah, it was in a small area. There was a lot of, what it was good, that seems to have been highlighted, was it was able to give a spotlight to the small UK independent designer crowd. You know, definitely the independents generally around there had a much bigger presence, where it felt a little bit like the Hilton did before they did the conversion into NEC, and it became this bigger affair where kind of the big boys moved in, and kind of the small independents, which had been kind of the meat and potatoes of the expo, had kind of got shoved to the sides. So it was kind of cool. I regret not being there for that, because it's great to get around and see small UK designers, things like, you know, Lovely Bez, Andy Hopwood, and there's a bunch. I know Drada Games were there. There's a bunch of stuff I saw there. So I regret not being out Alley Cat. I regret not being there to do that, to do a little bit of the moving, not so much shaking, and see what they had to offer and get a bit more feeling. So yeah, for that, it's always the mantra of Who Dares Rolls, other than fuck it, was always kind of focus on the UK independent, kind of give a little bit of shine a spotlight on those guys if we could, because there's a lot of A, cool stuff comes out of that, and B, well, they don't get shouted out as much. So there we go. Anyway, so Andy Hopwood, speaking of him, I think I said Hopwood Games, he won the award for Daring Dust Bunnies, best family game. An engine designed for fun. Yeah, there's air quotes, Mr. Quote, for me. Anyway, I'm moving on because this could go on forever. So news. Yes, let's do some news. Here is the news. News. So, some depressing news has hit. Asmodee have essentially said to all retailers, as far as I can tell, we are rising the prices. The prices of your retailer discount is going up or down. It's not good. It's about 15% increase on it, I think, is what I read. Which is obviously over the next, I think September this comes into effect. Over the next month or so, or even where retailers start to restock, you're going to see prices start to rise on this stuff. Some will just overnight do it. I know Games Law said they're going to do it as and when they restock. Others will, what it will do with the deep discounters might affect them definitely tight. It's going to squeeze right into their profit margin. Not that they had much in some cases anyway. More importantly, your friendly local game store, you're on the bread and mortar. In that anyway, shops are going to really feel the squeeze, because a lot of them are kind of pretty squeezed to begin with. So yeah, prices are going up, boys and girls. That's kind of inevitable in the current world situation. But it sucks donkey balls nevertheless. One company has already said, actually themselves are doing, is Folded Space, which have been very reasonable inserts. I did purchase the Twilight Imperium insert and use it, and it's very good. And they seem the best. Well, they seem for me, the cost versus what you get back. I'm not a huge big insert and sleeving guy. I do it for some games where I want to keep it in good condition sleeve wise, because I know it's going to get handled a lot. So I see the value in it, but I don't see the value in doing all of it. And inserts, again, I'm a baggy man. I'm a kind of components in a bag kind of guy. Yeah, I will admit the insert is really nice for that. I've seen some other inserts, and I get the point of I just regret. Yeah, we do regret. I begrudge paying a shit ton of money for an insert, and nearly all the inserts you'll look at, although they're beautiful, often wood and all that, are nearly always either more than the price of the base of the game you've bought. So yeah, Folly Space is good for that. I've kind of waved it off, but yeah, they at least have been a decent priced inserts, usually about the 20 quid mark or so, depending on the game and the size of it. So they are going up. I mean, it's going to be a couple of quid more, but yeah, that is happening. Anyway, that's the start of the news was the depression. So moving on swiftly from that, and EXPO, speaking of depression, I saw the fucking New Earth was all over fucking EXPO. What I've seen is multiple photos of the EXPO, and 90% of them had fucking New Earth in it. And New Earth with the cooperative mode. I will play, I'm looking over here, New Earth. Just don't move. This abomination. Go and find the thread on BGG about this. That's all you need to know. This is a UK independent designer. This is the Antichrist. I do gives a shit. Can you tell if that's the right way up or not? I don't know. I fucking couldn't. Anyway, this is the Antichrist of that fucking just the worst kind of thing. Look at it. It's just great. This was a massive stand at the EXPO a few years ago. And then yeah, well, there's that anyway. I am going to review this at some point. However, every time I look at it, there's the prospect of this fucking game. It's got dust on it. Fucking dust. Randomly, there was the Battle Beyond the Stars DVD in this box for whatever reason. Dog alert. In there. I don't know why. It's a good movie, Battle Beyond the Stars. I have no idea why it's in that box. Yeah, look how exciting that is. I need a pop. Oh, look, it's got paper money. Piece of shit. Stack of cards, and then look at this. Look at the splendor. Look at it, luxurious boards of poppage. Very nice. There's an unboxing as well. There we go. That's New Earth. I've gone off the beaten track. Sorry. I will at some point review this. Got dice in it. Come on. Where's the rest of it? Gives a shit. I will at some point review that because apparently they've released a cooperative version of the EXPO or something. Do I care? I don't know. Not really, but just for shits and giggles. Just because I'm a mean-spirited, miserable old bastard, I'm going to fucking have that game. Anyway, moving on. News. I don't know where I was before I got distracted by the news and stuff and things. News. Restoration Games have announced the Amiga Virus Prologue. It's a 2-player card game. The Amiga Virus was a really cool 80s board game with a squawk box of you, kind of like a pandemic-ish on a spaceship thing, kind of. But yeah, cool. So they're doing that. They haven't announced it officially yet, but they're doing a prequel game, which I think that's coming. I love restoration games. They do some really good. They did Downforce, which was really great, and they've done stuff like Dark Tower and Fable Island, and now this, which they're kind of catering to that rather plentiful supply of cash. People want to buy these very nice versions of old games, and that's due to them. They make a lovely job of it. Downforce is brilliant. If you can track it down, do. I know they released a budget version of it in Target in the States, so hopefully maybe we'll get one in the UK. Anyway, that's coming. GF9 have announced another June game. There's about 5 they're now releasing, which is June Betrayal, which is by Dun Eckridge, I believe. Eckridge. It's a guy who did The Resistance, I'm pretty certain, and the only shot I've seen of it does make the game look a lot like The Resistance, but in the June universe. So that's kind of cool. Descent, Legends of the Dark, the new £170 Act 1 Asmodee thing launches in a couple of days. It seems extortionate, and it's Act 1. That means there's 2 more acts at least. It's got to be a trilogy, surely. There's another 300, nearly 400 quid you're going to fork out to get this completed game. I don't get it. It's a big box with not that much in it. If you paid that on Kickstarter, you would get a shit ton more stuff. So I don't know. I'm confused by the whole thing. There's been various reviews. I mean, Dice Tower dropped a review, which was, I believe, I've not watched it, to be honest with you. Hatman, I'm sure I had something lovely to say, but I've not watched it. But I'm sure it was something really nice. No, I don't know. I believe it's mixed that he came from it. Anyway, we'll see. It uses the app like Journeys in the Dark. I believe, from what I understand, is the app is quite pervasive into it. I personally don't have an issue with games with apps in them, but I know some do. But £170 is my walk-off point at that point. It's a lot of fucking money, and I'm not convinced there's enough in there to... I've got plenty of dungeon crawl games. So yeah, the aesthetic's not that cool for me personally, so... whatever. They've been marketed as the definitive board dungeon crawl, which also is a bit of a... Right, anyway. TMG have gone bust. So about 2 or 3 months ago, I said I was convinced that TMG had gone bust, and they've gone bust. So that's happened. I don't own many, if any, TMG games. I own Guilds of London, actually, which means the expansion will now be impossible to get, like trying to hunt down a leprechaun's pecker. That impossible. That anyway. Modiphius have announced a Spectre board game based on the James Bond, the Spectre-ish movie. Essentially, you play Bond villains trying to gain control of the Spectre organization. It sounds cool. It's a theme that's not been done. Bond will be appearing throughout it as an interference during that. I mean, I always wanted to be a Bond villain growing up, so I can definitely get behind that. So I'll have a look at that. Much winking and stuff. And so I want a sidekick. Oh, what do I want? I want a sidekick. Naughty sidekick. And a pussy I can rub all day long. And Total War is being made into a board game. I'm not sure that's going to work, but that's happening. It's going to be a war game, surely. Quite like Total War. I enjoyed Total War. There was that Time Commanders. That was fucking amazing. Did you ever watch Time Commanders? If you didn't, go and find it. It must be on YouTube or BBC iPlayer or something. It's basically a bunch of historic battle nerds using the Total War engine to plot historic battles and get this team battle thing. It's fucking brilliant TV. I don't know why there isn't more of it. They should do a board of game equivalent of that. Anyway, that's that. That's the news. What have I been playing? What has Mike played? Well, quite a bit, actually. So Friday, I went around the usual Friday Night crowd. We played Ankh. Played the first game I played of Ankh, which was a 5-player game. I won, yay me. Well, we called it later because most people had gone out due to the whole merging gods and then elimination. It's got player elimination. So Ben was sulking by that point in time because I'd done horrible things to him. So he was like, "We can call the game now. It's just you and Bob. You're winning, mate. You can call the game." So Stato didn't like that. That happened. So I won that kind of by proxy. And then we played Canvas, actually, which is one of Ben's games. And it was oddly thematic. But yeah, Canvas is a game of you doing pictures. And it comes with little easels, and you got the plastic sleeve, and you pop sleeves. You've got a plastic sleeve card background, and you pop see-through perspex cards into it to make a collage. You have 3 cards, and you kind of buy them off this row as you play. Very straightforward, not immensely rules deep game, but actually quite entertaining and thematic. It felt quite cool. We played and enjoyed that. It was nice. Then Saturday was MikeCon. MikeCon happened, which is kind of, we were going to play a bunch of games with the Sunday crowd on during EXPO Saturday. So we did that. James bought a mate called Matt along. So there was 5 of us, which kind of was a blessing and a curse. It was nice to be able to play games with a big player count, but it did rather slow down proceedings, shall we say. Tony was on fairly good AP, though not as bad as he normally is. Matt definitely seemed to be quite prone to spot at the old AP, and Robbie is on a full free fall Captain AP, unbelievable. I mean, he's got so much AP, he's not even fallen out the fucking plane yet. But when he gets round to it, it'll be plummeting to the earth like a fucking giant gonad. Anyway, so yes, that added problems. We played Ankh, was the first game of the thing. Having played it the night before, I felt good to be able to play it again. And it was a cracking game. I really enjoyed it. And I won again. Yay for me. So just quick thoughts on Ankh. I think it's I think it's quite good. I think of the 3, there's Blood Rage and there's Ankh, and then there's Rises Up for me. I like it. It's not a battle game per se. It is a game about the placement of your area control. It's about where you've put your stuff and against what, maybe. And that's more the tactics of the game. I've kind of almost like this chess-like game of you placing pieces. It's got Kemetish vibes. I mean, obviously, it's Egyptian gods. And it's got a card battle system which uses similar to Kemet, though you've got everyone's got identical sets of cards, and they're playing them out in whatever order they deem worthy. It's really cool. What I like about it is Lang's. Lang has a thing about Eric Lang has a thing about kind of bringing rules right down to the bare bones. Just distilling until you get kind of really the basic, and it works with this. There is a very simple rule set. There's essentially on the back of a card, front and back of the card, is all the rules essentially without the nuances. There is some nuance to it, but really it's very simplistic to teach, and it much like Godfather, which we did play on Saturday, is the game, the difficulty, the strategy, the meat, the mental anguish comes out of the game as you play it, rather than out of the rules. And I kind of dig it. I like that you can get relatively fairly complex games, big games, to a wider audience. People at least know play games. I mean, yes, you couldn't take it to a bunch of muggles and expect them to pick it up straight away, but it's something you could teach what I would call a more complex gamerly game to people who normally, if you started running through one of these massive rule books, would just die. And sometimes I even kind of go, oh fuck, here we go again. Anyway, so yeah, Ankh, jury's out on it, I guess, across the board. As to the player elimination, the god merging, only played 2 games, 5 player each. Yes, we've had god merge in each of them and the player elimination. In the second game, we played it through to completion. To be fair, once the merge happened and then the elimination happened, there was only a round or 2 after that, and that was it, the game was over. So no one was sat there for hours. It was like, boom. So yeah, to be fair, at the moment I kind of dig Ankh. If you're on the fence or interested about Ankh, to be fair to you, there's enough content in that base box, and I've played mostly with the base box stuff at the moment. I haven't dug into any of the Kickstarter extras other than one god that we played with on Saturday. And obviously you got the bling that you're not going to get, but the base game, I think there's enough content in that base box with all the scenarios and enough mixture of bits in there that you would have some good games out of that. And I think, if anything, Ankh is going to be one of those games that plays better at the lower player count. Obviously it makes it a very expensive 2-player game, but I think 2-player games are going to be very tight and cool on it. But I definitely want to be interested to play again with a 4-player group, and maybe at some point down the road less, to see how it plays out. But yeah, I like Ankh at the moment. At the moment I like Ankh. It's good. I'm all right. I'm liking it. I'm going to move on. So we played Ankh. We played Rising Sun actually, which was a bit of a damp squib when we played it, because we kind of set it all up and I forgot how long ago since I played it, and it's a little bit more rules heavy, and we played about 2/3 of it and we all kind of went ugh and stopped. So it went well. Played Godfather, which I've already mentioned, which is fantastic. I really like Godfather. If you see Godfather at a reasonable price, it's a fucking great design. The theme is kind of pasted on to a point. It's a mob game rather than a Godfather game. However, there. You say tomatoes and all that sort of stuff. It's a solid design. It's Lang again doing his minimalised rule set. And again, you could teach that in essentially minutes once you remember how the game works. And it's like the rules on the back of a book, and it's done. And it's really cool area control, knife fighting elevator, but it escalates as the rounds go by. The ooh factor just kind of builds. Love it. If you see it cheap, pick it up. I need to review it, to be fair to you, but at this point in time, I've played it a lot of times, and it's an unequivocal thumbs up, if you like. Dudes on the map, area control, work replacement type vibe to it, and the gangster, mob warfare type style of games, and card play, absolutely well worth a grab. I come away from that saying, yeah, of all of it, brilliant. Without a shout, buy that, get that. Nemesis, we played at the end of the evening, did go on a bit, didn't go well, we all died. I died first, and I think I was out for about an hour before everyone else finished. I don't remember. I do remember that I basically it just escalated very quickly. I made it to like round 4, went into a third room along, triggered the queen, and was just being chased around the building the rest of the time with the giant aliens and get slowly diced and sliced. Everyone else, of course, tried to stitch each other up, and the ship blew up, and they all died. Pretty much, in short. But it was fun. I do like Nemesis. Took a while to get going, because it's been a while actually since I played it, so I was like, shit. And Nemesis, the rulebook of Nemesis, I initially thought that was quite good, but actually the rulebook of Nemesis is a bit of an arse pain. But I'll be interested to see what they've done with Lockdown, because I backed that. So and I do like Nemesis. It's nice thematic, some alien stuff, all sorts of good shit going on. That happened. But a bunch of other smaller games, whatever. And that was MikeCon. It was good fun. I enjoyed MikeCon. I liked them. We didn't stuff I didn't play. I wanted to play Cosmic Encounter. Would have been nice to get a game of them. Never good. Quite fancied some sort of Battlestar Galactica or something, BSG style game or something with that sort of bigger, broader, something like that, or The Thing would have been nice to have got a game of that in. Or we had toyed with TI4, which again would have been kind of cool to have that all day long TI4 without the pressures of it's getting late, I'm tired. So maybe for my birthday, a big 5-0 in January. Just saying, might have to pre-book that in advance. Twilight Imperium Day for Mike, yay! Before I, go senile and can't play anymore. So that's that. That's all the stuff played. What else have I done? Not a massive amount. I think we covered He-Man. I watched He-Man. He-Man was very good. Enjoyed it. I guffaw at the fanboy lunatic rage. I don't understand. I watched this, True Romance. This is Arrow Video, just part of a special edition of True Romance. I love this movie. It's such a fucking great cast. Tarantino, Tony Scott. Just before Tarantino became a huge thing, this came out in the early 90s and it kind of bombed, which I don't know why, because it's a fucking good movie.
I'm in big fucking trouble.
My name is Vincent Cocotti. I work as consul for Mr. Blue Boyle, the man your son stole from. Clarence and that girlfriend of his snatched my narcotics. Hightailed it out of there.
You got a hell of a lot of cocaine here, man.
You don't know him.
No, you don't know me. Not when it comes to shit like this.
Oh, you got it. All worked out, don't you?
Where's our coke? Where's Clarence?
I'm gonna show you what I mean with a little demonstration.
Man, I like this Clarence kid. This fucking guy's crazy.
I think what you did was so romantic.
I want you to know that you can count on me to protect you.
Clarence, I like you. I always have. Always will.
And then subsequently in the later years has got like a real good sort of... I knew that already. What were you playing at? It was fucking great. Anyway, fantastic cast. Oldman, there's Walken in there, there's Dennis Hopper, there's fucking hundreds of it. There's loads of Val Kilmer. There's just such a great cast. The Walken and Hopper scene is fantastic. But anyway, really good. Tony Scott, God bless his soul, at the height of his game with a Tarantino. But this is one of the best, actually. Tarantino and Scott merged together. Really worked, especially in this story. It just worked like a treat. No one else could have done that justice. If you've never seen it, go and watch it. Violent Tarantino-ish, great fun. Christian Staten, Patricia Arquette. Were astoundingly good in this. They really kind of just work as the two sort of lush-struck Bonnie and Clyde types. Brilliant, really good. I love that movie. It's such a fucking good movie. I've watched other stuff. We've been watching a bit of Walking Dead. I've got back into the later seasons of it because they were Disney. But that's been alright. Season 10 we're watching at the moment. It's okay. It's a big budget-ish zombie apocalypse stuff. It's still stupid. It's just not as stupid and dumb as it was. And that's as good a compliment as I can pay it. I think that's it. I'm going to be kind of just desperately trying to find something at this point. So it's been a long episode anyway. Well, what do you want? You haven't paid for this, for fuck's sake, have you? If you're a Patreon supporter, then you have paid for it, and I apologise in advance. And whatever you want, sir. But otherwise, the rest of it, fuck it. You can get what you get, what you pay for, which is fuck all. So this is that. That was the other. This was the start of August. Have fun out there, play games. I'll be back again soon with some more videos, and I've still not released Charlie's Grail Games video, and I got a copy of his comic today. I forgot to bring it into video, so I'll do it next week. But there we go. That is Who Dis Wolves for this week. Mumbo Jumbo in it all up big like a fat one. Yeah, biatch. See you later and all that. Good eye. Have fun. Have a lovely cup of tea. Ta-ta.